Today we have a tutorial video of Robo Rally Dice by Renegade Game Studios. Hi, I'm Kevin Baker and you're watching Shangri-La, my YouTube channel for tabletop board games, birding, and other educational videos. Please like and subscribe. Now for Robo Rally Dice, this is a standalone game, or you can just add the boards to your regular version of Robo Rally. As far as the regular version, like this one from 2023, if you have this version, learn this version first, because you'll learn the standard way the robots move and how they interact with each other, because all of that applies to this game. So if you have any doubt about how things move, check the regular version of Robo Rally that you can find. Okay, now to get started, each of the players rolls their dice, and whoever rolls the most stars gets to go first. So it looks like we have a tie between Hammer, Bot, and Twonky. Each rolled 1 star. So they would do a roll-off between the two of them. And we have a winner. So Hammerbot would go first and would place their robot next to the board. And then going in clockwise, each other player puts their robot next to the board. One difference between this version and the standard version is in the normal rules, the board edges are something you're not allowed to fall off of. They have an imaginary wall that goes all the way around. You can still fall into pits. If you are an expert player or have seasoned players of Robo Rally, you can loosen up that rule and play with board edges being pits where you can fall off into infinity. This is what a 2-player setup could look like. You can arrange the 4 boards, flipping them over using either side. You can put the flags anywhere you want. If you put a flag on top of another board element, that element disappears, so that's less interesting than actually having the board element out there. So I wouldn't cover it up, but sometimes you do. Okay, there's reboot tokens. Those are the same as in standard Robo Rally. Those are places where you come back in after you've been knocked out. Now for the initial setup, there's 2 different kinds of upgrade cards. These are lasers and these are movement. You give each player 2 of the movement cards and they get to choose one to put in their first position here. You can see there's a movement symbol here. That means that is the position that can only take a movement card. Only a laser card can go here or here, but either one can go in this slot. So you can only have 3 upgrades at any one time, and you must fill them from left to right. If you get new ones, you can replace old ones, but they still must match the correct type in the position. Now to use an upgrade card, you actually have to roll stars. And then when you play a star here, that means that during your turn, you can then move it up to here when you want to actually use it. Now you'll see that this upgrade card has 2 slots. The first time that you use this one, say if that was here, then you would move this star, which is automatically in the center position, it moves up to here. This one has 2 squares, so you can use it twice. The second time, you move it to here. And then at the end of the round, this star comes back to the center position, and then you can do it again in the next turn. There are different types of cards. This type with the check mark is just the normal one. If it's got a die with an arrow going each direction, that is movement related. So that has to be immediately before or after one of your register dice. We'll show you how that works later. Now, this is your checkpoint flag counter. So when you make it to the first checkpoint, it's going to be placed here. And then when you make it to the second checkpoint, it moves to here, over to here, and then you win the game. Twonky always wins, because I play Twonky. Yeah, but you have Hammer that will try futilely to try to keep up. And that's the checkpoint counter. Now this is also your damage token. This counts the number of times you get damaged by lasers on the board, or lasers for other robots, or some of the upgrade cards also cause you to take damage. If you fall into a pit on the board, you would then say, if Hammer falls into a pit, and Hammer had other dice on here, say Hammer was here and had there, and there. So if Hammer moves forward 2 into the pit, Hammer comes off the board, you remove all your dice from the board, you would advance your damage counter all the way up to the first damage spot. And when that happens, you then put one of your dice in here, reset back to no damage, and you're out until the start of the next turn, when you come back in here on the checkpoint for the reboot token for the board that you fell off of. And you can start in any direction that you want. In this case, you're trying to get up here to flag 1, so maybe you want to go that way. If there is another robot on the reboot token when you want to come back in, it gets moved one place towards the arrow on the reboot token. And then that doesn't count as a push. And then you come back in. There are other potential rules that you could do in the other versions of Robo Rally to deal with that, but this is the basic way that this version deals with it. Okay, let's move along. Now the top row are considered triggers, and the row here are your registers. So only stars can go in the top row. So these are stars. So when you roll those, you can put those in the top row. You cannot put stars in the registers. You can put anything else into the registers. And if you put a star in this position, this means that at the end of the round, you get to draw a new upgrade card. So that's how you get new upgrade cards, or you can get upgrade cards by landing and stopping on the energy spots. In this version of Robo Rally, you need to make it to the flags, but you can go over the flag. As long as you cross over the flag, then that counts as reaching it. In the standard version of Robo Rally, you have to stop on the flag. You can't just run over it. You could get pushed off the flag on that same register on the normal version and you didn't get there. You've got to stop. This version, you don't have to stop. You can just cross right over it. I think they're trying to make it a little bit easier. Now in this version of Robo Rally, each player will roll their dice as many times as they want. So you roll your dice, and so Hammer's rolling the dice, Twonky's rolling dice, and as soon as one of the players puts dice on here, they are locked. and they cannot come back off again. So rolling, rolling until you get one of those. Okay, actually maybe we'll put that over here. No, I put it up here, it's locked. As soon as it touches the player board, it's locked on there. Okay, and then once one player has finished, then there is a time pressure die, and they will roll and keep rolling until they get a 6. It's harder than it seems. No? Come on, just gotta roll till I get a 6. 6. Then you say 1. You keep rolling again till you get a 6. And then you say 2. And then you keep rolling until you get a 6. And you say stop. Okay, at that point, the other player, all the other players, if they have all of the registers already covered and have any extra dice, say if they were in this position where they had the registers covered, any extra die would go to the lost dice position. If they have registers that are not covered, say they had a star up here and an empty spot there, from left to right, you take the last die, you roll it once, and that's what you get. If you rolled a star, you can re-roll till you get something that's not a star. Okay, and then that would go into that position, filling from left to right. Now the different things that you can roll, this is a turn right. Okay, this is a move forward 1. This is, you have your choice of a U-turn or a back up, or a move forward 2, or a left. So those are your various choices depending on what you roll. So you keep rolling until someone finishes, grabs the time pressure die, rolls 3 6s, yells stop, and then you're forced to fill in the rest of your positions. And it will be suboptimal, but it keeps things moving. Okay, so let's go on to more rules. Getting back to falling into a pit, if Hammerbot moves forward from here and falls into the pit and already is in a damaged position right here where it's past the losing 1 die, you'd move up to here and you would lose 2 dice. So the next round, you'd only have 3 dice in order to program. What that means is sometimes you will leave positions open. So it's not necessary to always program. You could have that here, and that here, and just nothing would happen in register 2. And you also couldn't use a upgrade card in register 2 that was a movement upgrade before or after the register if the register doesn't happen. Okay. Like normal Robo Rally, first you have the programming phase. In this case, programming is not done by cards, it's done by the dice. So you roll your dice and you program them onto your player boards. And then you have the activation phase where you actually go through the process. After the activation phase, the board elements take place. And you have your standard board elements, so that the double speed conveyor belts, single speed conveyor belts, and then gears turn 90 degrees in the direction of the arrows, and then the board lasers fire. In this case, these are diagonal lasers. That's fun. And something new. In this position over here, you can see we have homing missiles. So with homing missiles, this is something new. If one player lands on or goes across the homing missiles, all the other players get 1 damage. So if Hammer was here with no damage, would move up here to 1 damage. If you do use this board in a standard version of Robo Rally, they suggest that you only do 1 damage to the player of your choice instead of all the other players. And so after the board elements happen, then each of the different robots, of course, shoot each other. So the robots get their chance to shoot. When I do teach this at my board game night, I will teach it based on the standard rules of using the time pressure die, and we'll see how that works. In the normal version of Robo Rally, you have the timer, which can come into effect. I never use the timer. It's just one of those things where it seems like less fun if you're putting pressure on people. I mean, I program it relatively quickly, and if everybody feels stressed and then they're not having fun, then they won't want to play it again. I want people to have fun. There are all potential alternatives to the time pressure die that have been proposed on Board Game Geek. Some person suggested you roll the time pressure die, and that's the number of re-rolls that you get. Or another person suggested that each time you roll your dice, you have to put one of them on the board, one or more. And so save that one there, and then you get to roll again, then pick another one there. So every time you roll, you've got to place at least one, and then you're done. So that's another possible alternative that we can play test and see whether we like it. For my version of this game, I intend to replace the Twonky wood with an actual Twonky, since I have extra robots, since I have multiple copies. I'll replace a Zoom with an actual Zoom. And we have a Smash with an actual Smash. And we've got a Hammer to replace Hammer. Why not make it special? Okay, and that is Robo Rally Dice. Give it a try. It looks fun, and it looks like you could actually carry this to a board game night. My other version of Robo Rally is up to 16 pounds, a little over that. So that's getting a little heavy. So this is a much lighter version that I could actually bring with me. And can't wait to get it on the game table. Okay, hope to see everyone in person at the next FlaMinGoCon, which will be FlaMinGoCon number 32 on August 15th and 16th. Yes, FlaMinGoCon 32, bigger and better. Our first 2-day board gaming convention. It's going to be at the Embassy Suites in West Palm Beach. 27 hours of board gaming. Saturday, 9 a.m. to midnight, and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Get your tickets now before the prices go up closer to the event. See you all there. Be well.